Okay, so one of the things that's really hard to ignore in the world at the moment is Claude code and this kind of code generation, vibe coding kind of phenomenon. Being an old school no-code developer and a hacker of different sorts, um, I'm finding it really intriguing and really just sky's the limit with things like Claude code and creating massive programs just from simple text prompts. So what I'm going to do today is kind of a bit of the best of both worlds, in that use Claude code and configure it so that you can use make.com and use a tool within make.com. Now, this is going to be a really simple example. Basically, we're going to use this tool. Let me find it for you. Let me just pause this. I'll get the tool. We're going to use this tool here, which is very simple. Makes a HTTP request, which basically just downloads. In this case, let me see exactly what it is. It downloads basically from a web URL, which our Claude code will send to this particular tool as an MCP connection. Just gets the HTML from it. This composer string merely just strips out the HTML, so it's a little more palatable to an AI tool, and then it returns it as a long string, basically. And so that's basically just taking the text off a website and sending it back to Claude Code to interpret and do something with. So I'll just pause this and we'll go back to Claude Code. Okay, so I'm going to make a few assumptions here on your level of knowledge. First is, do you know how to use an IDE such as Visual Studio, and that you've installed the Claude Code extension, which is this one here, just Claude Code, and that you know how to do that. So it's pretty simple. Look up another YouTube video. It's very simple. Okay, so what we're going to do is create a new folder or a new workspace, effectively. New folder. Where is it? New folder. New open folder. We'll just create a new one within open folder. Let's just go to documents. New folder. Where is it? There it is there. Let's call this connect. Now I've done this previously, so you'll see there's a connect to make folder there already. We'll go -2. I did it beforehand just to make sure I could actually knew how to do it. We have a new folder here. Let's just go open, and that effectively creates a new workspace for us. Let's have a look and see what we can do here. Okay, so we want to open Claude Code, and we'll give it some instructions on how. I'm going to do is basically create an MCP connection to make.com, run this particular piece of information, which is a web URL, and from that it's going to basically do a little summary and send it back to us. So just to prove that we can connect. So let's go new session. Okay, so we'll go back to Word because I've got my whole thing sent here. Okay, what we want to do is create a simple web form that takes an URL and sends it as input to make.com MCP. The MCP token is this. Now that's an old one, so don't bother copying. I've already deleted it. Go copy on that. Paste here. Okay, so that didn't work. Close. Right click, copy. Alt-Z. Edit. Copy. Try pasting it as text. No. What is this? No, that's no good. Yeah, we'll try typing in. Go really old-fashioned. Okay, create web form that takes a URL as input and sends it to make.com using MCP. The make.com MCP token. MCP basically is a communication layer between agents and between agents is a good way to say it. MCP token is, and we'll need to get this for you, and I'll show you where you get it, and don't worry, I'll delete it afterwards so it won't be exposed. Go back to make.com. Now we go to profile. We go to my one, which is this one here. In fact, let's go back. That's not right. That we was already there. API access. Add a token. Now we need to give it the scope of MCP use as it says in that little text box above. There it is there. And we'll call it temp MCP token. I will delete it as soon as I post this video. Go add. Let's copy that to clipboard and we'll feed it back into. I've often wondered here about the security of Claude in doing this. I still have my doubts as to how secure actually putting an MCP token directly into a chat is, and I would actually change them over if I actually went to any sort of production with this, but that's food for thought. And we'll send that and see what Claude thinks. Now, one thing I haven't done is give it the correct URL for make to send the MCP. So I may just get that. I do have it saved here in Word. Here it is. The correct endpoint is this. Let's just copy that. While it's cooking, we might just send it and put this information. Okay, allow search with this query. Let's just, in fact, it's actually looking for what I'm about to tell it. This is the endpoint. There we go. Okay, so that saves it a lot of mucking around trying to figure it out itself. Pretty impressive that it could figure it out itself though, but anyway. Oh, did that go? Yep, there we go. Okay, so we've given it the information. Fetching this URL. Yes, we do want them to do that. Let's just wait and see what it comes up with. Unfortunately, it does take a little while sometimes. I mean, realistically, it's better than the hours it would take to make this yourself. But anyway, I'll just pause it while it's thinking. I'm sure you don't want to wait here for me. Okay, so now it's asking us, will it create itself a little node web app? And I'm quite happy with that. Let's go yes. Again, I'll just pause the video. Now it's come back and it's asking for it. Can it make a few edits? So what I'm going to do is go, yes, allow all edits this session. And hope that it doesn't do anything too rash. Let's just see what it comes up with now. I'll just pause it again. Now it's creating a little server using nodes. So I'm just going to allow, let's allow it to do this. This might just take a little while to do. So let's have a think. Why don't we pause it again? Okay, so I had to let it create a few more node specific downloads and permissions, but that was all good. It's done it all itself, basically. We'll just check that looks like it's just checking if the server's working. That looks okay. It's just thinking away there. Okay. All right, so it's already done it. It's created a server, given us the ability to. Okay, so let's have a look and see what it's doing. How it works. Open the form in a browser, click load tools. And that's going to MCP connect to Make. Now, one of the downsides of this Make is you can't actually create Make tools with Claude code, but you can connect to existing tools and use them and get information back and forth from them, which is still very useful. But I'd love to see them go down the route of N18 and actually be able to create tools using MCP. But anyway, let's have a look and see what it looks like. Okay, so we'll go localhost. Let's go to this one. Let's see what it's created. No tools found. So it's not quite working because basically we'd have a set of tools in here, specifically the HTML text from Web 1 that we've previously looked at. So let's go back to it and just tell it that it's not quite working yet. Where is Visual Studio? There it is. No tools are found in the drop-down. So let's find out why that's not working. I'll just pause it while it debugs that. I'll just show you what it's doing here. Basically, it's gonna manually test that endpoint. Let's see if that works all right. Let's try again. Looks like it's just sending, previously it was sending the wrong information type by the looks of it. It's just got a few tests it wants to run. Just waiting for that now. Pause this again. Okay, amazingly, Claude has figured out what was wrong with the request. I'm pretty impressed by this, really. It's really next level. Again, it means coders like me will be out of a job in a couple of years, I'd imagine. But let's just look. This basically has just done a whole lot of debugging. It's figured it out itself. So if we go back to the tool and reload it, we reload this. No, let's try again. I wonder if we need to restart the server. Load tools, restart the server. I can't restart the server myself, so let's restart server for me. Let's just run that command. Let's just see what it does. Okay, what's another tool? Okay, let's look last command. Yes. So basically we're just throwing an error. That's interesting. Try again. Let's have a look. Okay, looks like it's now running correctly. Just restarting the server. I think it had a few issues with restarting the server, but it did figure it out at the end. So let's have a look again. Let's have a look. Load tools or enter manually. Let's have a look. Load tools. Okay, so here's my tools. Fantastic. Now, first two are unrelated. This is the one we were just looking at. Get HTML text from web. Now I need to tell it that when I send this message, it's actually going to be a response. There's going to be a response of that HTML text. So let's just let it know that. Back to Visual Studio. That's great. The response will send back, send back HTML. No, I won't send HTML. It'll send back some text from a web page that needs to be summarized into 100 words or less and displayed below the web form. Okay, so basically what I wanted to do is pull back that information using the tool, which is just the text of a web page, and summarize it into something useful using, I haven't specified it here, but using Claude, and display it below the web form we've already created. So let's see what it thinks about that. Let me just see what it thinks. Okay, so once I import the SDK, I don't want it to import that. So what I'm going to do is I will supply you an API key for Claude. Do not install API. Do not install SDK. Fetch directly from website. Directly from API. Okay, now we need to get, while it's doing that, please share the API key and wire it up. Okay, so that's what we want. Going back to Claude. Let's have a look now. We're in platform.claude.com. This is the dashboard part, but basically you go to API keys, bunch of them here. Let's copy this top one. Oh, I can't. I'll have to create a new one by the looks of it. In fact, I have one I prepared earlier, so I'll get that first. I will delete it as part of this process, but let's go back to that. I'll just pause the video while we do that. Pause. It's not letting me pause. Okay, it's not letting me pause, but let's just create a new API key. Okay, key, and I will obviously delete it later. Temp key, and we want it to connect to the default workspace in this case. That's just a generic Claude key, basically, effectively. Let's copy that. Don't worry, I will delete it. Go back to Visual Studio. Let's paste that. Just thinking now. Now, it'll create a whole lot of code, basically. In this case, it's creating some node keys. That looks promising. Yep, that's all working. It'll also create the space summary box here below the web form itself. Just let it complete that. Looks like it's working pretty well. Look back at the folder, we'll see that basically it's created all these files. Okay, allow this command. What's this? I think this is just restarting the server. Let's do that. It's still running away. Server is up and running. When you submit a URL, make.com fetches the web page text, pipes it to Claude, 100 words or less, and it'll, in a purple box below the form. Let's see if it'll actually do that. Let's go to this one here. Okay, what do we have here? Let's give it a URL. Let's use one of my here. Let's get our page here. This is just one of my blogs. We'll go services, go installation, read more. Well, that doesn't work. I'll need to fix that. Maintenance industry. I know that works. And we'll pick off a blog. Let's go supermarket electrical systems, Melbourne. Read more. Sounds riveting. We'll copy this URL. Basically, it's a big blog post. We want Claude to be able to summarize this using our tool. Let's go back to Claude Code. No, we'll go back to the web form, I should say. Let's go here. This is the most recent. So I'm just pasting in that URL. Choose the correct tool. Let's load tools. That'll send a response off to make. That's the tool we want to use. And then we want to send the information, and let's see what it does. Just waiting on that now. Just be a little bit slow, I'd imagine. Okay, here's the summary. So basically, it sent the text of the web page through to it sent this URL through to make. Make got the text from the website, and it came back and it's been summarized here. And you can see there's a pretty relevant summary for that particular web page. It's about supermarket electrical systems. So the good news is it all worked, which is really, really exciting. And this is a really simple example of using Claude Code and integrating it with a make tool to create an output, in this case, a simple summary. Anyway, there we go. Thanks very much.